So we're going to test out WordPress's vaunted claim that you can install it in 5 minutes, and so we'll do it real time here and see. Before we do that, I should note that many hosts provide a one-click install of a lot of web applications. So, for example, this is DreamHost, and it would let us install WordPress or Gallery or ZenCard or let's see, Joomla, PHPBB, MediaWiki, which is what Wikipedia is built on. So Moodle, which is kind of an extension of a CMS that's meant for education. And so we've got a lot of possibilities here. Lots of hosts do something like this. Note that Drupal isn't here because it's a more complicated install. But I want to be able to do it by hand. I want to be able to do it whether or not my host offers it. So to do that, I need a bunch of pieces of information. I need to know what my FTP host is, what my host name on the FTP account is, what my password is on the host account. I need to know the URL for the domain for my database. I need to know the name of my database. I need to know the username for my database and the password for my database. So those are the 7 pieces. I probably should have them scribbled down on a piece of paper somewhere, but I'm hoping I can remember. So the first step here is we need to download a copy of WordPress. So we go to wordpress.org, and we look and we see the download button here. Actually, download WordPress 2.91, which is the newest one. I'm going to download the zip version. tar.gz is kind of the Linux and Unix version of zip, but because I'm going to unpack it on my own computer, I'll go ahead and just do regular zip. So we have WordPress 2.9.1. And I'm going to unzip it. You should have some sort of an unzipping program on your computer. And it's unzipping it really quickly here. I just moved it over here. Sorry about that. And in here, I actually have the WordPress folder, which I'm just going to pull out to my desktop real quick. All right. Hold on, it keeps putting it over here where we can't see it. All right, so now I've got the WordPress folder. This is all of the this contains all the programs, all of the files that make up the WordPress application, the program. Now, basically, I need to upload all of these files to the web. That might actually eat into my 5 minutes pretty quickly. Before we upload, we're going to need to following the directions, we're going to go through and we're going to create a new WP config. Now, every system has a configuration file of some sort. Any application, most applications I should say, has a configuration file of some sort. And it basically requires you to touch the code and make some small changes here that are not too scary. So the first thing it's going to ask us about is to put our database name, and we know what that is. It's WarnTech WordPress. And then next it needs the username, which is WarnTech. Now it needs our password. Now it needs to know where the host name is. If you're on QUICM, your host name is actually going to be a host name. It's either MySQL or MySQL2.QUICM.net. You have to go back to my email to see which one of those it is. On most hosts, localhost is fine. What that means is look for the database server on the same host as the web server. And so that's what we're going to do here. This is fine. This is fine. There's another one here that we could change, which is the table prefix. If you're going to have multiple WordPress installations on your computer, you need to change this, because what it does is you're going to have lots and lots of tables from each WordPress installation, but you want to change the name slightly. So the first one might be WordPress WP underscore and then each name of the table. But if you want to put a second set of tables in there, you could call it NP for NewPress or something underscore, and that way you can do 2 sets of tables in the same database. This is important when you only have access to one database. And again, for those of you who are in the program, that's true for you. You only have access to one database. From there, I think we're good. So I'm going to go ahead and save it. File save, and I'll close. Now we need to upload all of this stuff over to the server. So we're going to use Filezilla to do that. All I have to do is upload this stuff. So I'll open up my my FTP client, and I'll go to warntech.com, and my username and my password, and I'll hope that I can connect. And I connect, and I can go ahead and bring these in. I'm going to put them right here in the top folder here in public HTML, and I'm just going to copy everything over. You'll see that www is there too, but I'm going to use public.html. It's the same thing. They were pointing to the same place, but I'm going to put it in my web root. What this means is that when it gets installed, the blog will be the thing you see when you open up the warrentech.com URL. That's going to be the first thing you see. And it's busily copying over a fairly large number of files here. So we end up with just over 700 files in total to upload. Depending on how long or how quick your connection is, that might take 5 minutes by itself, or it might take 10 minutes, or it might take 2 minutes. I don't know. So we'll wait for it to finish that up. So now we're going to go to warrentech.com wp admin install to go to the install. Oops, I misspelled WordPress. I said Warpress. So there goes our 5-minute install, if we haven't already. I'm going to bring this in and fix it. Alright, so now we need to tell it what our title it is. We'll call it My New Blog, and my email, and I do want it to appear in search engines. Alright, it gives me a temporary password. I'm just going to copy that and log in. Admin, password, log in. It gives me my access to the site, and I want it to take it to my profile page. I'm going to change it to something I can better remember and save it. Now I can do things like what I do with any blog. I can change the appearance, I can add new themes, I can work with the settings to have it do just what I want, and if I look at it here on Warrentech, I now have a blog up. So a little bit more than 5 minutes, but if you run into any speed bumps along the way, it can be quite a bit longer than 5 minutes, but pretty close, and overall a pretty survivable process. All right, so next we're going to talk just a little bit about some of the details of what we can do with WordPress, and then we're going to move on to Drupal. See you then.